The jinn explained, Wishgranters, or reality-breaking horrors. We are told the stories from the 1001 Nights, tales of powerful jinn bound to serve a mortal master, capable of conjuring palaces from thin air and mountains of gold from dust. They are the ultimate fantasy of power, a lottery ticket to a life without limits. But what if this is a profound and dangerous misunderstanding of their true nature? What if the jinn do not create anything at all? What if they are beings from a different layer of reality, a reality with different laws, and when a mortal makes a wish, the jinn does not grant it, but instead, it breaks our own reality to make it happen? What if every wish is a hammer blow against the fragile glass of our existence? Today, we journey into the shifting sands of the Arabian deserts and into the unseen dimensions that shimmer just beyond our own. This is not a story of magic lamps and benevolent servants. This is a story of cosmic physics, of careless words, and of the terrible, unforeseen consequences that ripple outwards when a mortal dares to command a force that does not understand the very concept of a paradox. Welcome to Mythos Unveiled. Today we seek to explain the jinn, not as wishgranters, but as terrifying, reality-breaking horrors. In the beginning, before the creation of mankind from clay, God created another race of intelligent beings. They were not made of earth, nor of divine light like the angels. They were forged from a different, more volatile element. They were created from smokeless fire. They were the jinn. They were a race of immense power, gifted with free will, just as humanity would be. They lived in a world parallel to our own, a dimension that overlaps and interpenetrates our physical reality, yet remains unseen. They built great cities, they formed tribes and kingdoms, they waged wars, and they loved and betrayed one another, all in the shimmering, invisible world that exists just beyond our own perception. The jinn were not inherently good or evil. Like humans, they were a spectrum. Some were pious and noble, believing in God and living righteous lives. These were the jinn. Others were rebellious, malicious, and chaotic. These were the Shain or devils, led by the greatest of their kind, Iblis, who refused to bow to God's new creation, Adam, and was cast out. And some were simply other, powerful, ancient, and utterly indifferent to the affairs of mankind. These were the Marid and the Ifrit, the beings of immense power that our stories most often, and most dangerously, confuse with simple servants. For centuries, the two races, human and jinn, lived in their separate but overlapping worlds, largely unaware of one another. But occasionally, the veil between these worlds would grow thin. A powerful sorcerer, a wise king like Solomon, or a simple, desperate man wandering in the desert might learn the secret names, the ancient rituals, the ways to bridge the gap. They learned how to summon, to communicate with, and most dangerously of all, to bind a jinn. This act of binding was a profound violation of cosmic law. To take a being of smokeless fire, a creature of free will, and enslave it to the will of a mortal made of clay was an act of supreme hubris. The most powerful of these bound jinn were often trapped within physical objects: a ring, a bottle, or, most famously, an old oil lamp, their immense, fiery essence compressed into a prison of brass or glass. The mortal who found such an object and learned the command word to release the spirit believed he had become a master. He believed he had found a servant who could grant his every desire. He was tragically mistaken. He had not found a servant. He had found a loaded, supernatural weapon, and he had no idea how the trigger worked or what cosmic damage the bullet would cause. Let us first understand the fundamental difference between our realities. Human reality is governed by the law of cause and effect. To build a palace, one must first quarry the stone, transport it, shape it, and lay each block upon the other. It is a slow, linear process. It requires time, effort, and a respect for the laws of physics. The reality of the jinn is different. It is a realm of pure potential of smokeless fire. For a powerful jinn, thought and reality are almost the same thing. To will something is to bring it into being. Theirs is a reality of shortcuts. They do not understand our concepts of conservation of mass or the slow, patient tyranny of cause and effect. So, what happens when a mortal, bound by the laws of our reality, makes a wish to a being that is not? Imagine a poor fisherman who finds a lamp on the shore. He rubs it, and a great and powerful Ifrit emerges, bound to serve him. "I wish for a grand palace, filled with riches," the fisherman declares. The Ifrit bows and says, "Your wish is my command." The jinn does not create a palace. Creation from nothing is an attribute of God alone. Instead, the jinn, with its immense power, reaches out into the fabric of reality itself. It finds a palace that already exists, perhaps one belonging to a wealthy sultan 1,000 miles away. It does not physically transport it. That would be too slow, too logical. Instead, it rewrites reality. In one instant, the palace simply ceases to exist in its original location. The history, the memories of everyone who knew it, the very physical space it occupied, are all instantly, brutally edited. 1,000 construction workers, guards, servants, and family members who lived and worked in that palace simply vanish from the timeline. Their lives and histories erased as if they had never been. The ground where the palace stood is now just empty desert, and it has always been empty desert. And in the next instant, the palace appears before the fisherman. Not just the building, but its entire history is now rooted in this new spot. The stones have memories of being quarried from the local mountains. The old gardener who has tended its gardens for 40 years now has memories of tending them right here. The fisherman has not gained a palace. He has stolen one from reality itself, and the universe has been violently rewritten to cover up the crime. This is the true nature of a wish. It is not an act of creation. It is an act of cosmic plagiarism, of metaphysical theft, and every time it is performed, it leaves a scar, a wound on the fabric of reality. Let us consider another, more personal wish. A lonely man wishes for the love of a beautiful princess who lives in a faraway kingdom and does not know he exists. The jinn grants the wish. The jinn does not conjure a potion of love. That is the clumsy magic of mortals. Instead, it reaches into the princess's mind, into her very soul, and it rewrites her past. It brutally edits her history, her memories, her emotions. It erases the man she was once destined to love, the children she was meant to have with him. It tears out the pages of her life and replaces them with a new, artificial narrative. She now has a lifetime of memories of loving this lonely man. She remembers their childhood together, a childhood that never happened. She remembers their first kiss, a kiss that was never shared. She wakes up one morning, her heart filled with an overwhelming, absolute, and entirely fabricated love for a man she has never met. To her, this love is the most real and powerful thing in the world. But it is a lie. Her free will has not been persuaded. It has been annihilated. The man has not won a bride. He has been given a beautifully crafted, hollow doll, its soul kidnapped and replaced by a story written by a being of smokeless fire. This is the horror of the jinn's wish. It does not add to our reality. It subtracts, it erases, it overwrites. Every wish for wealth leaves a corresponding void of poverty elsewhere. Every wish for love creates a corresponding history of a love that was murdered in the cradle. Every wish for life for a departed loved one does not bring them back. It simply pulls a soul from its rightful place in the afterlife, creating a hungry ghost, a being that exists in a state of perpetual torment, forever out of sync with the world it has been forced back into. The user of the lamp sees only the result, the beautiful, shining wish fulfilled. He does not see the cosmic violence, the spiritual devastation, the silent screams of the realities that were broken to make his small, selfish dream come true. Now, consider the jinn itself. Why does it so often twist the wishes of its master? Why does the story of the monkey's paw, where every wish is granted in the most literal and horrifying way possible, feel so intrinsically true to the nature of these beings? It is not always out of malice, though some of the darker jinn certainly enjoy the cruelty. It is often because of a fundamental disconnect between our realities. They do not think like us. They do not understand the nuances, the unspoken context, the delicate web of consequences that surrounds every human desire. A man trapped in a desert, dying of thirst, might wish, "I wish for water." A benevolent human would bring him a cup or lead him to an oasis. The jinn, a being of literal, powerful, and non-contextual thought, might interpret this wish in the most direct way possible. It might rupture the fabric of reality and transport a portion of the bottom of the ocean to the man's location. The man gets his water, 1,000 tons of it, along with the crushing pressure of the abyss and all the creatures that live within it. The wish is granted, precisely as requested. The man is dead. The jinn does not understand the difference. It has fulfilled the letter of the command, because it cannot comprehend its spirit. This is why dealing with a jinn is so dangerous. It requires a level of precision in language and thought that is almost impossible for a passionate, emotional human being. To make a safe wish, one would have to draft it like a legal contract with 1,000 clauses, accounting for every possible misinterpretation, every unforeseen consequence. I wish for a cup of clean, drinkable, non-poisonous water at a temperature that will not harm me, delivered in a way that will not cause me physical or psychological distress. And so on for pages. And even then, a clever ifrit might find a loophole. The stories of Solomon are a testament to this. King Solomon was said to have been given power over all the jinn by God. He did not use them to grant wishes for personal gain. He used his wisdom to bind them and force them to perform great works of architecture, to build his great temple. He commanded them with precise, unbreakable, divinely inspired instructions. He treated them not as servants, but as a dangerous, powerful, and volatile workforce that had to be managed with absolute precision and control. Solomon understood their true nature. He knew they were not friends, but a force of cosmic chaos that had to be carefully and rigidly contained. This brings us to the lamp, the bottle, the ring. Why are the most powerful jinn always imprisoned? The popular stories suggest it is a punishment for their rebellion against God or their crimes against mankind. And in some cases, this is true. But the deeper, more terrifying truth is that the prison is not just a punishment for the jinn. It is a protection for us. A free, unbound jinn of immense power, an ifrit or a merid, moving through our reality, would be a catastrophe. Its very presence would warp the laws of physics. Its thoughts, which are so close to its reality, could accidentally rewrite our own. A moment of anger from such a creature could cause a city to burst into flame. A moment of sorrow could cause a river to flow backwards. It would be like having a living, sentient, and moody law of physics wandering through our world. The prison, the lamp, is a containment field. It is a device designed to stabilize the jinn's chaotic, fiery essence and, most importantly, to create a necessary buffer between its reality and our own. The lamp acts as a translator, a command interface. It forces the jinn to interact with our world through a single, narrow, and theoretically controllable channel, the 3 wishes. The 3 wishes are not a rule of a game. They are a safety protocol. A limitation on the number of times this reality-breaking being can be allowed to violently edit our universe before its containment must be renewed. The master of the lamp is not a king. He is a temporary system administrator, given 3 chances to run a terrifyingly powerful program before his access is, and must be, revoked. Consider the story of Aladdin in its darker, original form. The sorcerer who seeks the lamp is not just a greedy man. He is a student of the dark arts, a man who understands what the lamp truly is. He does not want the lamp for palaces and riches. He wants it because it is the ultimate weapon, a tool that allows him to rewrite the world to his liking. He understands that to control the jinn is to control reality itself. And when Aladdin, the unwitting master, gets the lamp, his wishes, while seemingly innocent, cause chaos. His wish to be a prince does not just give him clothes and a parade. It invents a history for him. It erases the real prince who was supposed to marry the princess. It alters the memories of the sultan, of the entire kingdom. He is not a prince. He is a man living inside a lie that has been made real, a lie that has cost the existence of others. The jinn in the story is not his friend. It is a powerful, dangerous, and often reluctant tool that is bound to his will. Its primary desire is not to grant wishes, but to be free. And its freedom would be a disaster. This is the ultimate paradox of the jinn. The only thing more dangerous than a jinn bound to a lamp is a jinn that has been set free. A common final wish is, I wish for the jinn to be free. This is often portrayed as the ultimate act of kindness and friendship, the master finally liberating his servant. From our new perspective, this is the most terrifying wish of all. It is an act of cosmic irresponsibility. It is the act of a fool who, having played with a nuclear weapon, decides that the weapon has been a good friend and should be allowed to wander the world on its own. The freed jinn, no longer bound by the rules of the lamp, its power no longer channeled through the narrow conduit of wishes, is now a free agent of chaos in our reality. Its very presence is a constant, low-level disruption. And if it ever chose to truly exert its will, to wish for something for itself with its full, unbuffered power, the consequences would be unimaginable. It could unmake a mountain, boil an ocean, or erase a star from the sky, all with a passing thought. The stories where the jinn returns to its own realm are the happiest endings. The ones where it chooses to remain in ours are the beginning of a horror story. So, let us look back at the figure of the jinn. It is not a magical servant. It is a lesson in cosmic humility. It is a story about the profound and terrifying dangers of power without understanding. It is a warning that our reality, our history, our very lives, are built upon a fragile set of rules, a delicate balance of cause and effect. And the jinn is a being that represents the breaking of those rules. Every wish granted is a crack in the foundation of our world. We see the beautiful palace, the loving princess, the mountain of gold. We do not see the silent, gaping voids in reality that were created to make them possible. We do not see the ghosts of the lives that were erased, the histories that were rewritten. The man who finds the lamp and makes his 3 wishes is not a lucky hero. He is a vandal, a cosmic vandal who, in his ignorance, has punched 3 irreparable holes in the great, beautiful, and fragile tapestry of our existence. And the jinn is not his servant. It is the hammer he used to do it. The stories of the jinn are not fantasies of unlimited power. They are horror stories. They teach us to be careful what we wish for, not because a malicious spirit will twist our words, but because a powerful, alien, and uncomprehending spirit will grant our words with a terrifying, reality-shattering precision. It will give us exactly what we ask for, and in doing so, it may take from us the very world in which we wanted to enjoy it. Some doors are best left unopened, and some lamps are best left unrubbed. For the power they contain is not the power of creation, but the power of chaotic, violent, and irreversible revision. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of smokeless fire. If this unveiling of a classic legend has made you think differently about the nature of a wish, show your support by liking this video, subscribing to Mythos Unveiled, and hitting the notification bell so you never miss another journey into the heart of our most dangerous stories. What is the most dangerous magical object in all of mythology? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, remember that the greatest treasures can sometimes be the most terrible weapons, and the fulfillment of a wish can be the beginning of a nightmare.